everybody. I'm back. And as promised, I did not wait a super long time to come back and make a video. And so here I am. Updates. I have red hair now, at least for a little while. I have been wanting it to be autumn for so long, and I'm so tired of summer that I decided that I would put some autumn in my hair to try to, cultivate a little bit of that energy because summer is just not my jam. I'm just not into it. So, yeah. I have been thinking a lot about reaching for our desires and escaping learned helplessness. So, I'm someone who has had a lot of trauma, and as you might know, I have complex PTSD, and I'm currently undergoing EMDR therapy to try to deal with some of that. And I'm really happy about that. I do feel like it's helping me to process some of the really negative memories that I have from my past and sort of put them where they belong in the past and put them in a place where they're not intruding so much into my day-to-day life. So, I've been really working on that. And, it's funny because, like, when you're working on that, it really feels like shadow work. And although we have shifted towards harvest on the wheel, I still don't feel like I'm fully in that season where I'm ready to do a whole bunch of shadow work like I usually end up doing in like September and October. But I mean, this is something that I really need to do for my own health. And one of my goals for the year was to really focus on what would make me the most healthy, what would heal me the most, what would make me the most able to do the things that matter to me, the things that I really want to accomplish in my life. And so, one of the things that trauma survivors have a tendency towards developing is learned helplessness, because you're in a place where you're suffering trauma and you don't know how to get out, and you are trapped, and you learn to believe that you don't have any options, or you don't have the ability to figure out how to break out of a situation or change a situation. And I think if you know me and you kind of see me on the surface, you wouldn't maybe necessarily suspect that I have problems with this, but I actually do on a really deep level. I have a tendency to make myself small, and I have a tendency to just not try things because I think that I'm not going to be able to be successful. And if I'm not successful, then it feels scary to try. If I have to think about trying and possibly failing, or having to take like multiple attempts to figure something out. So I've really had to come to terms with the ways in which I have developed some learned helplessness, and try to come up with strategies for figuring out how to bust out of that pattern. And so I know that one of my plans for the new moon is to start sort of some fresh magical endeavors around learned helplessness, and, sort of believing in myself, and sort of breaking out of my comfort zone and trying to do things that maybe previously I didn't believe were possible for me to try. So that's something that I'm doing right now. And all of that has caused me to really think about desire. And, I feel like to have a successful, magical life, you have to really be in touch with your will. You have to really be in touch with your desire, and you have to be really honest with yourself about what your desires are. Because a lot of times, what people will claim as their will or their desire really has more to do with what outside expectations are for them. And maybe they feel some shame about wanting the things that they want, or, they feel like maybe it's not even if they don't feel shame, they might feel like it's not what the rest of the world wants or what the rest of the world is focusing on. And so their magic falls flat because they don't have that desire, because that desire is power. And when you put that desire behind your magic's going to be so much more successful. But if you're not being honest with yourself about what your desires are, then that makes it a lot harder, I feel, to manifest the things in your life that you want. And so the message that I have for you today is, be honest with yourself about what you want. And as long as it's not hurting someone else, or it's not, somehow going to hurt you, it's perfectly fine for you to desire what you desire and to chase after that desire and try to manifest that desire, even if it isn't something that lines up with what the rest of the world, thinks is in or important. So maybe you're someone who your desire is to travel, and people are putting pressure on you to get married, to have children, to settle down, but what you really want to do is spend your whole life traveling. There is nothing wrong with that. Don't feel like your desires have to line up with everyone else's desires. It's perfectly fine for you to have your own desires and magically work to bring them about, as long as they're not harmful. And so I guess that's what I really wanted to say today, because I think that a lot of times I withhold things from myself because I feel like they're not important. Like, there's so many important things. There's so many crazy things going on in the world right now. And there's so many things to fight for. And there's so many things to put your energy behind that are really, really important. And so sometimes in my quest to be working on all of those really important things, because I am an activist, I tend to put my own desires and my own needs on the shelf, in part because I judge them as not being worthy, not being as important as, but, they're important to me. And sometimes I don't even want to admit to myself some of the things that are important to me, because I feel like I'm judging them to be trivial and not worthy of my time, my energy, my money, my magical investment, like all of that kind of stuff. And, it's really okay if what you want to do is focus on losing weight, or you want to focus on reading 50 books before December, whatever it is, whatever your desire is, as long as it's not harmful, you do you. And that's perfectly okay. And it doesn't really matter if other people think that, it's the best, or, the most interesting, or the most magically important thing for you to do. So I guess I want to know, and maybe you can tell me in the comments, what thing is it that you desire, that you want, that you feel like is maybe not important enough to ask for, or not important enough to work for, or that you feel judged about wanting? What is that thing, and what steps can you take to start to bring that about in your life? So thanks for tuning in, and I hope to talk to you soon, and I hope that you have a great weekend, and I hope that wherever you are, the weather is wonderful, and we'll talk soon. Bye.